Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Now that my two obligatory informative videos are done for the day, it's time to talk about current events in the online fitness community. So let me put on my +5 out of weaponsmithing. Work on skilling my crafting a little bit and let's talk about this. Alright guys, I made a video the other day discussing Nick's strength and power and Nick's power and strength, whatever it's called. And I actually had nice things to say about Nick. I really said I don't really have a problem with the guy. I don't really see anything he's doing as negative. I'm not calling him out like I do a lot of people. And man, he got upset. In fact, I'll flip in one of the screenshots of stuff he said. He got upset. Now, this is where this gets interesting, because if it turns out that he actually knows the truth, that our mutual acquaintance, who I do talk to on the phone periodically, who is another YouTuber with pretty big following, who people don't know that we talk behind the scenes, who talked to you about this, Nick, also. Now, if he has actually sent you the stuff he sent me, because this is what made me become aware of all this G4P, he actually sent me this stuff. This is not stuff I found on my own. I didn't know about it. I'd never even heard of Artemis before last week. I'd never even heard of the guy. He sent me this stuff, and the guy in these videos had an uncanny resemblance to Artemis. And he's telling me it's him. Other people have confirmed it. Now, here's the thing, Nick. If you knew all this already before you made the statements in this video, you knew that I didn't make this up, then that makes you a liar. I don't know if that's true. I'm going to chat with this guy later because I think he's passed out still this morning. We're gonna chat later today. He told me to call him. I'm going to find out. But the thing is, Nick, if you already knew that I didn't make this up and you jumped up and made these statements, I'm going to start calling you Tricky Nicky. Because here I was thinking you're a good guy. And you already kind of pulled some tricky stuff because, here's the thing. You jumped up and technically made a video that by, most definitions would be potential defamation. Not saying it's defamation, because if you legitimately believed it, it's not defamation, is it? Not defamation. But you jumped up and you made this video accusing a person's actual company of bad business practices and ripping bodybuilders off, actually ripping people off and taking money from them, said it's alleged. Okay. That's not technically a defense against defamation entirely, unless you legitimately believed it was true yourself. Now, that's a defense against defamation, because defamation requires it to be a known lie, like you knowingly lied. Like if someone had tricked you into thinking it was the truth and then you thought you were telling the honest truth, that's a defense. That's not defamation. That's a mistake. You could do a retraction and then, you're good to go. Which would be what I would end up doing if it turned out that this guy was a case of mistaken identity. But here's the thing, Nick. That was some tricky stuff right there. For you to come up and make this video about his business practices and me to discuss something that's kind of commonly found on the internet. It's discussed on forums. There's whole forums, subforums dedicated to discussing this guy's G4P. Who are linking into it. Other people had linked me this stuff. I didn't find it on my own. I didn't do a Google search, although Google searches do pull it up. Google searches absolutely do pull it up. But you jumped up and accused me of lies and defamation. Now, you may very well know that we have a mutual acquaintance or mutual friend, I don't know the nature of your relationship with all the other YouTubers, who sent all of this to me, told me about it, talked to me about it on the phone, sent me links to the videos, right? Now, if you knew that, then you knew that if the information's already out there, you knew I didn't come up with any of that on my own. You knew this was supplied by a mutual acquaintance. Yet you jump up and you say, Jason lied. Jason, to try to cover up your own, to say, oh, he piggybacked off mine and told lies and defamation. I don't support it. Really, because you accuse a guy of bad business practices. I said I have no clue if any of that stuff's true. I didn't even really get into it because I said that's what you're alleging, but I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know. I really don't know, and I don't really care because I don't give a single rat's ass about bodybuilding. As far as I'm concerned, bodybuilding could disappear off the face of the earth and the world would be a better place for it. I don't have a high opinion of the sport. Oh God, people are going to say I called it a sport, even though it's quotations. The performing art. I don't respect it. I don't like it. I don't have any use for it. I think it's negative. I don't think it's a good thing. That's my view on it. So I don't really care that he ripped off a bunch of bodybuilders. Bodybuilders are used to being exploited. That's kind of part of the game. I don't care. So I don't know if it's true. And I really don't care. I don't care if he did it or not. Irrelevant to me. So, that being said, You know, you jump up and you do that. Well, here's the thing. For something to be a lie, and you accuse me of being a liar, you have to believe it's not true. If you believe that you told something that you think is the truth, or most likely the truth beyond a reasonable doubt, or, you know, in some cases what they call in civil court preponderance of the evidence. If you believe based on the preponderance of the evidence that something is true, that doesn't make it a lie. If you actually believe that, right? Just like if, you know, you think that you were picked up by space aliens last night and taken up into their spaceship and you really believe it happened, you might be delusional, but it doesn't make it a lie if you tell people because you thought it actually happened. You thought your vivid dream was real, or you're schizophrenic or something. You know, it doesn't make it, it's not a lie. Same thing with defamation. If you believe it's truth, then it's not defamation. So I don't know where you're coming up with this, because what are you telling me? That you didn't see, you didn't look for any of the videos, you didn't do any checking? Because, you know, I'm considered to be the master of Googling. Everyone always says, Jason, like you Google University here. You can Google this stuff real easy. It's real easy. It wasn't hard. It's not hard to find, even though I was sent all of it without having to do that. Not hard to find. And so what are we claiming? There's no truth to it. It's lies because he said it's not true. Okay. So here's your two possibilities. Either number one, it's a very, very severe case of mistaken identity, that there was a gay porn star who looked just like the guy years ago, looked exactly like a striking resemblance, who also happens to be a guy really serious about working out and bodybuilding. The same face. We had multiple, I guess, what do they call them? Stage names, pseudonyms, handles, whatever they call them. Handles in the gay porn. All right. Who, just a case of mistaken identity? Well, that's not a lie. That's just a case of mistaken identity. You know, just like you're an eyewitness. Well, I saw a guy that looked like him. It does look like him. I was led to believe it was him. Now, if it's not, I'll come back and say, oh, it turned out this is someone else. Here's his other real name. It's not Artemis. Okay. Well, that's all we have to do. Prove that. That's all you have to do. Find the real name of the guy and find out it's not him. And then, if that's the case, then I say, oh, okay, well, my bad. No harm, no foul. If it looked like him, everyone said it was him. Problem solved. Right? So it's a case of mistaken identity? Or are you saying, well, there's no gay. Okay, well, so what? You need to prove, I guess, sorry, let's get into the current definitions as they're recognized. I guess if a man makes intentional knowing contact with another man's genitals, it's generally considered to be a homosexual act, right? It's considered gay unless, I guess under the current terms, unless the other man identifies as a woman, in which case you're touching a woman's penis, and so therefore it's not gay, even if it ends up in your mouth or whatever. I think that's the current social justice definitions. Okay, so then you need to prove that the other guys were identified as women, in which case I saw something that appeared to be a homosexual act, but I didn't know the other guy identified as a woman, and so I didn't know that it was a straight act. Okay, I mean, that's possible. That's possible, Nick. I mean, it's possible. So that could be the case, in which case I would say, oh, I'm sorry, it was straight porn under the current social justice paradigm, but, you know, because of the gender fluid situation. Well, okay, that's all you got to do. You know, that's all you got to do. But as it stands, you're just denying that it's even there. It's there. So which is it, Nick? Are you claiming it's a case of mistaken identity? Or are you claiming that it's a gender fluid situation? I mean, it's got to be one or the other, because it's there. I mean, the stuff's all there. You can see it. I prefer not to see it. I recommend you don't see it. You know, a lot of us, we might not enjoy seeing that. Not our thing. Like, where's the girls at? You know? But I think here's the thing, Nick. I'm going to just be honest. Since you were kind of a dick in your response to me. See, here's the thing. You've been coming across as a nice guy. I don't come across as a nice guy because I don't need to put on that silly act. I genuinely care about people, but I'm kind of an asshole. And I'm kind of an asshole in real life, too. I really am. I don't really put on that big face. I can be polite. I can be cordial. People have said Jason's a really cordial, polite guy, until it comes time for me to speak my mind, in which case I just drop truth bombs on people. I'll tell people how I feel. I'll give my opinion whether it's asked for or not. That's just kind of who I am. And I'm cordial up until that point, till someone does see some bullshit that I'm going to call out. I'll do it in person just like I do on here. I don't put on the nice guy face, Nick, but that's what you do. But then all of a sudden you jump up and pull this the moment someone talks about your precious little bodybuilding. Because that's the thing. I noticed you talk about you got power and strength, but all of your videos lately, when I went to check your channel out, people told me to check it out, I was like, you seem like a nice guy. But for a guy who talks power and strength, he sure is obsessed with pro bodybuilding. It's like everything in all his videos, like for the last month when I looked, they were almost all about pro bodybuilding. Like, you're kind of a bodybuilding fanboy. And I'm not going to get into all that, but just in my experience, there are certain things about bodybuilding fanboys that I've noticed. And I noticed you jumped up immediately. You're like in complete denial of the whole G4P thing in the bodybuilding world. You must be really new to the game if you don't know that, because if you've been around this stuff, and I did have a little dabbling in the bodybuilding world a long time ago, and I found out it was a lot darker and seedier place than I thought it was. And I found out about all the sleazebag photographers and everything else. You know, I mean, it's the same stuff we deal with, because my girlfriend's in the fashion world, and so we know a lot of models, and yeah, they're sleazebag photographers who get purely into photoing models just so they can try to take advantage of them, sleep with them, have sex with them, maybe trade photo shoots for sex favors, try to get in their pants, maybe try to slip them a review. That happens all the time in the photography world with female models. Guess what? It's just as bad in the whole physique world or bodybuilding world and everything. It's just as bad. The photographers there, the vast majority of them are inclined towards a certain orientation, and they have muscle fetishes. That's why they get into that sort of photography. And like many other men who are sleazebags, a lot of them, not all of them, there are definitely exceptions. There are definitely exceptions. But there's a whole lot of them who act the same way. They're predatory in their behavior. You know, it's a sleazy, dirty world, the bodybuilding world is. And that's the thing. You try to put on the kind of this pure image, Nick, but you sure jump to the defense of the bodybuilding thing and someone talking about the dirty side real fast. Oh, it's lies. I got your number now, buddy. And I don't mean your phone number. You guys know it's a figure of speech. I know who you are now. I understand. I understand. I see you. I see you, Tricky Nick. You don't want people attacking your precious bodybuilding that you sure are a big fangirl of. Am I misjudging this? Maybe our mutual acquaintance will let me know that I'm kind of misjudging this situation, but that's how I'm seeing it right now. At this point, jumping the way that you jumped up and accused me of lying, probably knowing that I wasn't lying. And defamation, kind of in defending your own defamation of the guy, you jump up and attack what I had to say. Well, my stuff's pretty public to see. It's out there. It's not that hard to find it. Unless it's some case of mistaken identity or something, in which case, okay, my bad. All I got to do is come back and say, oh, well, I was convinced, I was told this was him. It looked like him. It's a case of mistaken identity. It's not him. There you go. The dude's straight as an arrow. Right? Problem solved. All right, then. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.